I'd like to congratulate Asset Management Ontario on the focus that you are placing on climate change in this conference and in your work. Certainly strengthening the infrastructure management capacity around this existential challenge of climate change is extremely important. So I'm very pleased to see that this organization is focused on this challenge. I know, and you know better, that the management of Canada's infrastructure has become an increasing area of need as extreme weather events have grown in significance. Recent disasters have caused billions of dollars in infrastructure damages, as well as, of course, threats to human livelihoods and health. So integrating climate considerations into infrastructure planning, design, and rehabilitation will ensure that new as well as existing infrastructure can withstand the impact of climate change and protect the health and safety of Canadians, as well as result in long-term savings. The Government of Canada is committed to building resilience to climate impacts in a number of priority areas, and certainly infrastructure is one of those. This commitment was highlighted in the Strengthened Climate Plan, which was released late last year, and which establishes the building blocks for a cleaner, more competitive and resilient economy, aims to get Canada to net zero emissions by 2050. So I'd like to touch on a few initiatives with you today that we have undertaken related to climate adaptation, first in the international sphere and then here in Canada. So internationally, I was pleased to be the representative during the 2-year work of the Global Commission on Adaptation. The Global Commission on Adaptation was convened as a means to accelerate the attention and focus that is paid to adaptation to climate change, which sometimes gets less attention than climate mitigation. The Commission released a report in its first year of work, which I recommend to you. It's called Adapt Now, and it outlines the need for greater urgency, scale, and innovation in our efforts to adapt to climate change globally. And then in the second year of work of the Global Commission on Adaptation, we established a series of action tracks focused on specific areas. And Canada co-led with Mexico the NatureBased Solutions action track. Now, I know that you will be talking about natural infrastructure later in your conference, and I'm very pleased to see that, because certainly nature and natural infrastructure can be our biggest ally in adapting to climate change, whether it be in the attenuation of floods through restoration and protection of wetlands, or coastal ecosystems that can protect from storm surges, or urban forest canopies that can provide an important cooling effect for hotter summers. And also, I'm sure for this profession, there's the cost benefits of natural infrastructure are of interest as well. So through our work in this nature-based solutions action track, Canada and Mexico, together with international partners, sought to spotlight leading countries and cities as examples of implementation of nature-based solutions, as well as to shine a spotlight on the leadership of Indigenous peoples in conservation, as well as youth. And for example, we had an opportunity to highlight the tremendous leadership of Vancouver through its Rain City strategy, which is, as you may know, a 30-year plan aimed at protecting residents from flooding through green infrastructure. We also, in this work, sought to explore ways to attract private sector investment into nature-based solutions. And we did a call out for innovative models for doing this. And this stimulated work by the Insurance Bureau of Canada with Swiss Re and the Municipal Natural Assets Initiative on nature-based insurance pilots. This project, if you haven't heard of it, I encourage you to inform yourselves. It aims to develop tailored insurance products that can provide new incentives for local governments to manage and protect natural assets. I'll also mention, with respect to the Global Commission on Adaptation, that there was another action track, the GCA's Resilient Cities Action Track, recognizing the important role of cities in adaptation to climate change. And this brought together a global network of cities to scale up action on urban adaptation, and resulted in a coalition. 1,000 Cities Adapt Now program was launched. And this will promote a comprehensive package of measures to accelerate action in 1,000 cities by 2030. And it's calling upon city leaders to support this program for a decade of action on climate resilience. The work of the Global Commission concluded in the Climate Adaptation Summit hosted by the Netherlands on January 25th. Prime Minister Trudeau participated in that summit together with 31 other heads of state, 50 ministers, and going forward, we are working with the United Kingdom as president of the climate conference COP26, scheduled to take place in Glasgow in November, to continue this work on accelerating global efforts around adaptation. So turning now to work on the domestic front. Domestically, the Government of Canada has made investments in major new initiatives to make communities' infrastructure and businesses more resilient to climate impacts. For example, the $2 billion Disaster Mitigation and Adaptation Fund enables municipalities to better manage climate risks through investment in natural as well as constructed infrastructure. And because nature-based solutions are forming an important part of the effort, the Government of Canada has committed to partner with provinces, territories, Indigenous communities, and municipalities in planting 2 billion trees over the next 10 years in both rural and urban areas to advance the use of nature-based climate solutions. The federal government is also undertaking groundbreaking work to integrate climate resilience into building and infrastructure design codes and standards. And this work will ultimately be integrated into the National Building Code. And then at Environment and Climate Change Canada, we have launched the Canadian Centre for Climate Services as a dedicated team of climate experts to help Canadians become more resilient by providing access to climate information, data, services, as well as training and support. So alongside these broad initiatives that support a wide range of organizations and individuals, the government has also made targeted investments to support adaptation in municipalities. And I'll just mention a few of those. First, the Green Municipal Fund is a $1 billion program to support municipal sustainable development goals and climate change initiatives. Then there's the Municipalities for Climate Innovation Program, or MCIP, which is a 5-year, $75 million program that helps municipalities prepare for climate change, as well as reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And it does this through increasing local capacity through a mixture of awareness raising, technical assistance, and grant funding. And thirdly, and specific to infrastructure, the Municipal Asset Management Program offers funding, training, and capacity building to increase skills within municipalities and local governments to sustainably manage their asset management programs now and in the future. Budget 2019 announced an additional $60 million for the Municipal Asset Management Program. So while we know that these programs are already making a difference, we also know that the impacts of climate change are accelerating. And so under the Strengthened Climate Plan, the government committed to the development of Canada's first ever National Adaptation Strategy. And this is aimed at enhancing collaboration among different levels of government and key partners around the challenge of climate adaptation. It will look to establish a shared vision for climate resilience in Canada, identify key priorities for collaboration, and establish a framework for measuring progress at the national level. And certainly resilient infrastructure will be a key part of any effective strategy.